Hey, what's up, guys? How's it going? Welcome to Running Gun Tarot Radio Episode 2. Fielding live calls here from my Psychic Source Network, as well as Psychic Power Source Network. I'm going to be pulling cards today for the General Collective for free. If you'd like a one-on-one reading, live or private, that's negotiable. Please just reach out to me. You can message me on Instagram, Running Gun Tarot, or leave a chat comment in this messenger box here on YouTube. I always post my phone number in the description box, so I'm easy to get a hold of, easily available. I could do a live reading for you too on the stream as well. Again, just message me. It could be a single question. I usually charge about like $5 or $6 for a single question, and then about 10 or 11 for a reading, something like that. I try to keep it reasonable, but the economics of today are crazy nowadays. So, but in any event, let's try to keep it more holistic and spiritually related and oriented, because I feel like that is the supreme power. Everything else that will be. Please keep in mind there is that kind of paradoxical element with tarot. Right, as of late, recently, the main lesson has been to let go, to not always rely on the cards, to not always check, because a watched pot doesn't boil, and it's kind of like a Chinese finger trap. Like back in the day when you bought them from the arcade palace, the more that you try to pull your fingers apart, the tighter it becomes. So a lot of the magic and the zhuzh that happens in life comes as a result of us. Ultimately not watching the watched pot boil. Just want to do a little sound check test and see if this is coming through, because I don't see the microphone early on here. Check 1 2 3 1 2 3. I just want to make sure that on my YouTube live on my phone that there's volume. So I'm going to check my phone really quick. Second. Check. Testing volume. Check. Testing volume. Check. Testing volume, because I was having some issues starting the stream. Check. Testing volume. Okay, it is working. Good. Back to our regular scheduled program. So let me pull some general energies if we get a call, and I'll take it live stream. I usually put the caller on speaker, and they remain anonymous. All you hear is their voice. Again, my personal line is available. If you want public or private live stream readings or private readings, everything can be accommodated. Spirit of gratitude, joy, love, and light, highest possible messages at this time. I'm also on call with my delivery gig, so after a little bit, if we're done pulling energies or what have you, or if I get a tasty offer, you'll see me run off camera, but I'll probably still keep the live stream on. Spirit of gratitude, joy, love, and light, highest possible messages at this time. We got the King of Wands falling out with the Four of Wands here. Now, this is very apropos of crossing a finish line. This is very apropos of union, getting up to make an effort. Okay, Nine of Pentacles at the bottom of the deck. You could be getting up to make an effort for someone that you find attractive. Someone's very alluring to you, possibly. A lot of where my kind of spiritual philosophy rubber hits the road, it has been in commune or deferring with the first mover of when you sit in meditation, you're with like the quietness, the void, the darkness, like reverting back to that, reminding the personal self that is what we all are objectively connected as. Call it the ether, the void, call it source. It's not this kind of fanciful, phenomenal miracle that happens. One thing that Muji says, one of my kind of spiritual, uh, you know, someone that I defer to, says that, if God revealed himself or showed himself, you'd get bored of it because it would only be through the phenomenological capacity. It would only be through the senses. And the very makeup and establishment to be human is to, uh, see something and then have it go away and us move on with our time, you know, our relative time and space constraints. Likewise, I was listening to a lot of Jordan Peterson's Exodus series on YouTube, and Dennis Prager, a highly respected kind of religious educator, uh, speaks to the fact that like God is not this kind of flash in the pan miracle, right? Faith is not this flash in the pan miracle. Now, what I would say upon like waking up earlier today and like sitting more deeply um, with that kind of meditative pose, right, in the darkness, so to speak. When I first woke up, I did that, and one of the conclusions I did come to is that like we are really only truly merely a witness to it. Like you sit in the source, call it the void, the darkness, or whatever of meditation. When you close your eyes, so to speak, we are all of that fundamentally, and yet it cannot be denied that something phenomenological does occur. But more often than not, that occurrence, can be known as, um, someone of that kind of divine show and play, to the extent that whatever does occur is outside of our own doings. Um, Fate or happenstance, as it were, serendipity. So it's almost as if the more that we are a witness to the unfolding, as opposed to the doer, say like a Hitler, so to speak, is like the famous example, right? The kind of evil doer, right? You never hear about like the good doer, because it's almost as if there is no doing good. Good just exists, and it kind of reveals itself through our very nature. So, with that being said, I feel like this period, call it the Leo new moon phase, but I feel as though that it is more so having to do with like a not overthinking, not over strategizing, but being more so in commune with that kind of that newness of the new moon, that newness of um, that, what would you say, ever present kind of spiritual power. Especially nowadays when we're so kind of distracted by nonsense, right? If you always have that center source, which is one with you, which you are not separate from, to always defer to and hang your hat on, then what better kind of ultimate spiritual universal kind of coat hanger to hang your hat on than that? Because then now you're just not so attached to the duality, to the nonsense of this experiential reality, and now you're not so gripped by it emotionally. You kind of let things come in and go, and it makes no difference because you have the ultimate, you know, coat hanger of reality with that inner knowing of you are one with source, and that is what Baba Muji would call, um, the universal gem within yourself, knowing that there's no such thing as separation. You know, And when you're tapped into that, when you're attuned to that, the only thing that you could do is forget it. The only thing that you could do is lose that connection to your own power and your own source through foolery, through illusion, cheap stage magic, right? Um, through being so encaptured and engulfed and enraptured by the foolish duality of emotion and want and desire. And that's ostensibly what TikTok, Instagram, YouTube, TV, everything does. But if you have the secret key of the universal gemstone of that knowing that you are not separate from the stillness of the night, from source, nothing is gained or lost, you're still pure there, whole, then you could take everything else with a grain of salt, so to speak. That gemstone becomes that grain of salt that you take everything else with. And then you ultimately revert back and defer to. So, and when you have that kind of that reconnection almost, or that revolution to that kind of stillness within yourself, again, sometimes we forget that it's there when we're so engulfed by nonsense, want, desire, whatever, then things do very much so become more of an unfolding. They fall out of you as opposed to anything else. And as I say that, these cards want to fall out. 7 of Pentacles in the reverse, 4 Heart in the upright. So not being emotionally receptive, possibly, or seeking emotional stability, changing your purview or perspective to kind of inherently glean some more emotional stability. And I think that that's what comes from kind of remaining in your source, in your center, so to speak. Okay. And I think it comes with the seasoning. I think it comes with maturity. So there's no one to blame. There's no, fault of your own. It just so happens to be how things are. And from the kind of immature perspective, it's unable to see the seasoning, right? Hence the 7 of Pentacles in the reverse. But the truth is that, we're always kind of growing. So there's no such thing as the 7 of Pentacles in reverse, which is like lack of growth or whatever. You could buy into the illusion of, money, crypto, stock. But again, that's all illusory. That's all fed to you so that, and even fed to you is a statement, right? If you could give power to conspiracy, or you could say, if all of that didn't exist, there would still be the happenings of life, right? From days of old, when there was no electricity or powers that be. It would still be the phenomenology of existence that you would have to kind of sparse out, suss through. But oftentimes we kind of subjectify, where that thin gray line is between what's phenomenologically happening outside of us versus through us, right? We take ownership of greatness. And that's a part of it too. It's almost like a relinquishing of any trying to hold on to anything and everything. But when you do that, the cliche of when you let go, when you let God or you let flow, then it's almost as if like there's something to be said about the quality that starts to emerge. Because you're no longer the doer, you're no longer the planner. The doer and the planner gets exhausted, right? But if you're more so from the extent of like, let's see what happens, then, something cool happens. 8 of Wands in the upright, incoming communication. 4 Swords, rest, relaxation, or more of that letting go, letting God, letting flow type energy, right? When you stop checking the YouTube, when you stop checking the tarot readings to see when I'm going to get that job, because you're buying into the hope of, it's going to be this week, but then you're let down. And then that being let down is even more devastating and exhausting because you built yourself so high up. So it's like in basketball, it's like, shot clock watching or clock watching. Are you really enjoying the game? Are you really present if you're constantly, or in life, if you're constantly checking the clock, checking the bank account? So it's that age-old adage of being present, presence. And that doesn't mean that you don't do it according to your comfort. I mean, me, I have my headphones on. I don't know if you've been able to tell, but I got some cool music in the background, chill, low key. But it's like, whatever gets you able to kind of do the work and do the job, so to speak. It's funny because when I used to work a desk job, I used to listen to a lot of radio. It's like the fuel that gets you through. And so I'm wondering if I start treating this like that, like a day job, maybe I'll get like more people, more viewers, and what have you. But I think what it comes down to is like that consistency, right? It's that consistency for sure of you're just kind of day in and day out, doing the work and showing up. I think that's a huge part of um, at least nowadays how we deem kind of human success, right? We're like building those neural pathways and what have you. So it's almost as if like we're seeing from like a new emotional standpoint our perspective, and we are able to, um, take advantage of our current situation. And I think one of the traps that when we try to do that is oftentimes we may interpret what we've been doing until that up until that point until then as maybe a loss of time or a loss of enjoyment. But again, once you kind of adopt that notion of, there's really no kind of gain or loss, right? Then you could just be, as the Bible says, like be as a child, to enter into like the kingdom of God and stuff. And so it's like when you do that, then you're not trying to like aggregate, keep, because you realize like it's not really going anywhere anyways, right? It's kind of going in one ear and out the other. We're not made to kind of hold on to a snapshot of like a beautiful, woman or a beautiful image, or life keeps on moving. And it's almost as if the extent of like your suffering has to do with the correlation of, okay, how much am I trying to hold on to something, that doesn't want to be held on to. And fortunately, we are able to do that with relationships, with people that agree, um, to kind of be with us or be in that relationship. But oftentimes they're not. you know, uh, we try to hold on to things, you know. So, that makes me think of my current situation. I've been trying to kind of hold on to, um, this apartment, although, you know, I wouldn't even so harshly label that. I would just say, you know, on a base surface level, just trying to be able to afford to pay the bills and whatnot. And, I haven't, it's not like I've been like losing my mind or anything. It's just, kind of defragging and deprogramming of that old thinking of like, you know, um, bringing your attention to that which is not in your control, you know, and, you know, when you kind of, how do you say, no longer give your attention to that which is outside of your hands, then you're much more present and you're much more like, empowered, so to speak. Because all we have is this moment. So, it's less of trying to think to solve something that's not even here yet, you know. And I guess that's what some would call like trust or faith, you know. Um, you know, knowing that it'll figure itself out, or an answer will come to me. does. Um, I think like what comes with like, how do you say, um, like standing in your truth, standing in your power, um, knowing that there's something for you to do here and now in this moment. Um, so the more that we kind of continue down that line, because again, that path to, what we would kind of envision for ourselves begins here and now. But you have to be able to see it that way. You know, I think I'm gonna get some breakfast, a snack or something. So pardon me if I'm off camera. Feel free to message. Those peanuts. All right, so this will be the segment where. So just to wrap up, we do see incoming communication, Eight of Wands in the upright, but again, not to have you kind of expect or wait for it, but I think it's something that you're going to well receive with the King of Hearts in the upright after a time of rest. It could have also been that like someone was like kind of distancing themselves just to see what the dynamic is. Are you going to be like a needy person? And it ends up turning out that that person desires you even more because you're not tripping on them. You're just kind of playing it back, sitting back and playing it cool. And they find that attractive. Three of Cups in the upright. This is ability to have fun and enjoyment at this time. Again, not taking things so seriously, keeping it surface level until you could kind of garner more of a kind of character understanding. But it feels like there is progress here, as long as you don't like overthink it, and you actually enjoy it, enjoy the process. I think that that'll take you a long ways. Very cool here. I do see a matching couple, not to bury the lead, King and Queen of Hearts, Jack of Hearts. So to me, that tells me progress moving forward, taking the next steps. And then ultimately, you have that Ace of Swords in the upright, which is about truth, clarity, miracle, something phenomenal, striking and breaking, piercing the veil of silence. And it's very kind of straightforward and direct, and also just, again, to your benefit, Nine of Swords in the upright, not overthinking things, not worrying it. Okay? So, not to worry, as always. Everything's Literally being taken care of by the divine as always. All right, love you guys. I'm gonna put my number out here. Feel free to message me. I'm gonna put my mic on mute. Feel free to reach out for a reading.
Part Welcome back to another episode of the Stevie BB Show. I fumbled my words a little bit there. Oh, okay, I'm sorry. It's been a while. I got a little nervous because I haven't seen you in a while. Yeah. Oh, you could be. Yeah, man. Yeah, it's been years.
It's been years. I'm great. It's good to see
It's
you.
good to see you.
You got staff now. That's great.
I didn't have staff.
I don't think you had staff.
I don't think staff, I don't.
Yeah.
I'm just still trying to.
Scissor Bros are killing
Yeah, we're
it.
trying. You gotta get on there.
I would love to.
Have you seen any of our clips up there?
Yeah, I see it all the time.
The
The
challenges?
clips and
Yeah,
stuff.
yeah.
You guys are rocking.
We're trying, we're consistent.
Yeah.
And then shout out to Off the Grid Ryan as well. That's our brother.
Our brother,
Off the Grid Ryan. That's
he's
his brother.
great.
Now, are you still doing a podcast with my boy, Ryan?
Well, we don't. He used to be on Two Ball Hat.
Yeah,
Well, we're thinking about starting a new one.
Bring it back into the mix.
By the way, I have 7 podcasts.
Let's start. How'd you do it? I'm trying to look for it, brother.
I'm going crazy.
I'm doing two, and I'm like,
Yeah.
and well, yeah.
Well, okay, so this is my life. I've started a podcast. I'm taking 3 martial arts. You are? Yes, I'm taking jujitsu, Krav Maga, and Thai boxing. And it's because if I
You look fit, like you look like
They-
stronger.
well, dude, if I stand still, the demons come. So I have.
Yeah, boy, we have demons.
Oh yeah. So I'm really into this Hermetic principle stuff.
Yeah, yeah.
And the notion of duality, the
Yeah.
law of duality. Like I'm in recovery, like in a meeting, and so like dude who's been sober for 40 years out of his 55 years, right? And be like, blah 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 alcohol, because you're always have your darkness there. So I stop moving,
Yeah.
the demons start go,
Hey, and how do they enter your brain?
they just
Do
go,
they
hey,
come in your brain?
it'd be fun to get weird real quick. Let's do weird shit, do drugs, make bad decisions.
Yeah.
All my like hobbies were felonies at one point.
Really?
Yeah.
So you were on one of them.
I was running, bro.
You still was on?
Yeah, speed.
It's really hard, Steve.
Yeah.
You know, have you ever been Steve and done a comedy set? Like, what's that?
One time I crushed and I was like, this is not good.
You were crushing?
I crushed.
So you're just,
I'm like, okay, we can't do that again. That can't become a thing.
cause you're like, I was doing a stand up on the spot and I was upstairs and you had your own show and I was looking at you through the square. I'm like, oh, this is him. And it's like, I was watching you, cause you went on in between the acts.
So
You're natural as fuck. I'm like, I was thinking the whole time, I'm looking at you like, oh, he's like coachable.
yeah. I mean,
Like you were just kind of,
since I was 22 years old.
yeah,
I'm
well,
50 now.
yeah, but your crowd work, you're just kind
You're
of,
supposed to say you look great.
you look great. You do, and you do look great for this.
Oh,
Yeah. But things are happening. Well, so how are you managing doing second podcast, bro?
Well, each podcast is something I want to learn about, and I've discovered that I retain information much better by talking
Yeah.
than I do by reading.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm trying to love reading more. I'm trying to read like 10 pages a day. I'm into conspiracy books. And
I want to get into UFOs.
I did today's the first day talking.
Because, man, no one's talking about it, man. There was a government hearing
Yeah.
talking about UAPs, UFOs, and they're
I got
acknowledging
the real stuff. Man. I got the street good shit. Okay. Uncut, good shit.
Okay, please share.
So today I had Chris Bledsoe and Ryan Bledsoe.
Are they brothers?
No, their father, son.
Okay, gotcha.
And basically Chris Bledsoe had been what's it called? Abducted.
He was abducted?
Yeah, like time wasn't here when he came back. It was like hours later, and he thought it was only 10 minutes. It
Is
was
that
crazy.
Yeah, that technology.
But he had Crohn's disease. He no longer had it.
They cured him?
They cured him.
We got that technology.
We got that. So
yeah, so give me more backstory. You got my attention.
So the whole thing about these crafts, the ones you're seeing,
There's the ones that they said some of them are like egg shaped.
yeah,
The Tic Tac one.
I think they're all human technology from U.S. military, and the real shit is in that. And this guy has videos of he got it all on video, all flight with entities inside them. And bro, he showed some videos today off his phone, and I was like,
To you?
so on the show,
On the show, he broke it out.
bro, I was like, because I haven't heard about Project Bluebeam forever.
Yeah.
So then I had this woman on. So backstory is, I had a woman on my spiritual podcast called Zero. Okay, Zero stands for.
Yeah.
And she was like, I have communications with these entities, and they were telling me that Project Bluebeam, the real psyop, is that the government, they want you to think it's them creating all the alien stuff. But in reality, the real stuff is that we are going to make contact with entities of light.
Okay, so what's that referring to? Entities?
So going back to
aliens?
today,
Yeah.
whoever these things are,
There's a bunch of them. There's different races.
I think there's a bunch of them.
There's a bunch.
these guys, the blood cells, have met people and met entities, and they meet them all the time.
How they communicate telepathically?
They can telepathically
Yeah, yeah.
communicate them,
I've heard of it.
but they show up, you can see faces in the balls of light, and then sometimes the entities will appear and the ball of light will be absorbed into the entity. It's crazy. He showed me all these videos, bro.
So when did you get abducted?
2008,
And then what state? In California?
North Carolina.
I knew it was the East Coast. I just did.
Well, you know, it's hard to see stuff in. So my own
Pennsylvania, I was gonna guess Pennsylvania or something.
anytime there's like too much electricity, you're never gonna see anything.
You need the land.
Yeah, you need to have less energy. Yeah.
Yeah.
So, dude, like my whole opinion is like the whole thing has been the PSYOP, the Agenda 2030. It's like they want us to move into these giant cities, and these cities are LA, New
I
York.
know it's fabulous on top of each
It's
other.
all free range reservations,
Yeah.
bro. Like we think we're free, but we're bombarded with drugs, alcohol, sex, shitty food, all that stuff.
Squatters.
Yeah, all that
Death
stuff.
heads.
Yeah, and you live in the land.
Yes, you get to kind of have a
There's
piece
stuff,
of
yeah.
you'll see shit.
So they've been teaching us scarcity forever, when really there's abundance and there's enough of everything for everybody.
Yeah.
But they want us to think, we're in a right now, Steve,
Yeah.
we're in a giant demoralization campaign
Right now?
in humanity.
Yeah.
They're trying to make us think we have no hope,
No power.
no power, and that they inverted.
Who's they? The aliens are doing that?
No,
The government's doing that? Make this shit that way?
the best, the elites, but we could call them the lizard people.
Yeah.
They may not actually be lizards, but they have reptilian brain. And they are genetically modified from Anunnakis who are fallen angels. And the war is between God and the fallen angels.
That's for damn sure, huh? I mean, if you're not into this, that sounds crazy.
That sounds crazy.
But I'm on the same page as you, bro. Because I've been watching Linda Moulton Earth Files for years. She knows her shit too, bro. With the cabin
100%.
relations and all that.
So everybody wants you to think that everything's going on is about money and power. We are trillions of dollars in debt right now. They print money. They don't need the money. They just print the money. And look, they lock down the world like that. They have all the power. This is a spiritual war.
Right now
It's a population.
Right now, it's
You think someone's hiking?
Oliver's career that I am.
He's fat.
Yes.
so who's involved? Is China involved?
China is just a pawn.
I
Yes.
thought they were one of the major
No, they're
players.
pawns. China,
What about Russia? So is Russia or China? It's not.
Russia, I mean, if you're asking me, where's the real power? You wanna know where I think it is? Switzerland. You know what's in Switzerland? The Bank of International Settlements, the
All the
WEF,
billionaires go there to invest their money, man.
yeah,
Yeah.
the Committee of 300, the Clyde, the particle collider, whatever that thing's called, that's there.
So it's Switzerland.
I think it's Switzerland. Where did Hitler invade? Hitler
Wasn't
never,
he hiding out over there?
no, he was in
Oh, it
Argentina.
was in Argentina.
If you ask me, the Nazis didn't lose World War II. Germany did. The Nazis were basically
I heard some crazy shit where that alien influence was involved. You know, the blonde,
Yeah.
white thing.
Yeah.
People think that's crazy, but it kind of makes
Well,
sense.
that's what Operation High Jump was about.
The Pleiadians were involved, right?
Antarctica.
So the Pleiadians are the blonde-haired, blue-eyed.
I don't know which aliens
But
were
there's
about.
tall white. There's different kinds of white.
So
Yeah.
Admiral Byrd goes up there. Do you know where he goes to? You know where he goes to?
No.
New Schwabenland. It's in Antarctica.
Oh, yeah, there's stuff there.
Klaus Schwab, his father, Schwab, New Schwabenland. And that's where
So then there's alien bases in Antarctica.
Yeah,
You go
that's
through
why
like-
you can't go there.
Yeah. I seen a documentary, the little one, how there's alien bases where the doors are
Yeah.
all black, like chrome black, and
Yeah.
the symbols, and Yeah, it's hard,
But
yeah,
they
there's
don't come here
layers.
through, they don't come here through ships and spaceships, it's all interdimensional ships.
So they got all that, like Stargates and world.
Yeah,
Really? So it's kind of like that movie, remember They Live at the end, They Live?
yeah,
At the end, when they're at the banquet, and then those dudes they're kind of teleporting from here.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, like, it's kind of like
a
that.
lot of people think the moon is a Stargate or an entry in and out of this dimension.
It's scary, right?
I'm sorry.
She's not used to this house. Okay, so what?
You know the video Pac-Man? It's about the moon.
Yeah, you're right.
Pac-Man is about the moon.
It's about the moon and it goes and it gets
So what's
recycled
he-
back in the box in the middle,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
Dude, think about that. That's some real shit. So Pac-Man, that goes and then you get recycled back.
And then the moon eats this ghost with their spirits.
Spirits,
and they get
they're
reborn.
recycled back to the Matrix.
Yeah,
Ulysses.
yeah, dude.
So I.
And Super Mario is about life. Super Mario is the story of the enlightened man.
Super Mario.
Where do we meet Super Mario first? Donkey Kong. What's his whole job? Do his job good enough that his girlfriend doesn't get dick dropped on her, right? Like Donkey Kong, he fucking saves the day, gets a better job, right?
Yeah. Donkey Kong, he has to do that in the arcade.
But then Super Mario goes, what? Super Mario, he goes from Donkey Kong to Super Mario, he gets a bigger job,
Right.
then he gets a better job, and now he's eating shrooms, the next thing you know, he's in Mario Kart, and everything is possible.
That the psilocybin's involved because he's expanding his.
Yes, and then he's getting superpowers.
Write that. Can you write that down, please? That Donkey Kong language. That's great stuff.
Donkey Kong
Yeah.
is a cuck game. It's about him stopping his girl from getting lit up by Donkey Kong. Yeah. Yeah,
The Donkey Kong.
the Donkey Kong, right? And then he does that so well, he gets a better job. Now he's outside and he eats a shroom, and then he gets superpowers.
And then he gets drunk and he gets bigger.
And then he experiences life so much, he's in Mario Kart, he can do anything he wants.
Can I be honest with you? How much sobriety? You were both sober, right?
Yeah.
Right? Dude, I've been getting these thoughts. I've been wanting to try one. I know I'll bring this back.
I don't, dude, I mean, I
Now, what
can't.
about DMT? I want to try it.
I am still figuring out my beliefs on psychedelics.
Because DMT, I've heard, I want to, you heard the chinos.
Listen, this is a Bob Saget joke, basically, and I
Yeah.
don't need to be crude.
No, that's fine.
But my theory is if you don't suck dick for it, it's not drug. That's my opinion. So nobody's blowing anybody for DMT or mushrooms or anything
Oh,
like that.
my.
So do you know the story of, by the way, do you know what a big influence on AA?
No.
The Rockefellers. Yeah, they funded a lot of it early. They helped them spread the word, yeah. But that doesn't mean it. But
They
they,
just have to find, they have to.
yeah, so, boy, do you know what a big influence on AA?
No.
The Rock.
My.
So do you know the story of, by the way, do you know what a big influence on AA?
No.
The Rockefellers. Yeah, they funded a lot of it early. They helped them spread the word, yeah. But that doesn't mean it. But
They
it,
just have to find, they have to.
yeah, so, so when Bill really wanted to make the 12 steps, at the end when it says after having
Spiritual experience, yeah.
he wanted you to do psychedelics.
Really?
And they were gonna vote him off. They tried to vote him out.
That's in the book.
No, that's the story.
That's the real stuff. How come we don't hear about that?
Because it's not part of the story, but,
So they encourage that.
well, he did it. He wanted people to do psychedelics and talk to God.
It's like some Timothy Leary shit.
Yeah. But do shrooms, don't do acid though, that's the big thing.
No.
I think
I
acid is
that's
the
that
government's
is. So that's okay. So have you never?
Hold on, I can't tell you it's okay, that's your journey.
That's my journey.
I do not think psychedelics, well, first of all, you should do psychedelics for a long time in sobriety. That's my opinion. And I'm not telling you it's okay, shrooms or anything in sobriety, but I do not consider it a violation of your recovery. That's for me and mine. I'm not here to tell you.
When I'm smoking meth, there's sniffing coke, you know, it's
Like, yeah, those are to me escape drugs. Because you
Yeah.
don't feel shit. I feel like real psychedelics like shrooms and DMT is about expanding your mind. But again, everybody's on their own program, and I'm not here to tell them.
No,
what they
that's
can
fine,
and
and I'm not condoning or
Yeah.
for or against that. Look, I'm still sober, I'm still, you know, I feel like I'm not working the best program, but it's, you know, it's working out.
Progress, not perfection.
Yeah, so, if I were to do it, I would microdose.
Yeah.
I wouldn't like full on lose my mind, you know.
Well, I would be like, I would say go, let's say we're at a conference, and this is not for newly sober people. You know, you should get 5 years under your belt before you think about it. You know,
right.
But, and then you have to ask yourself, is that something that will lead to you breaking the seal?
Yeah, but
and
I'm
doing
not
nothing?
against that could be here.
Yeah, so everybody's different. That's
Yeah, because I know myself too.
yeah.
And I'll start with blunts and.
I know, it's like so funny. I used to drink so hard. I stopped getting off drugs. I stopped drinking. I have no real desire to drink.
And look what I have here, I mean, these are addictive.
Yeah, for sure.
Look at all this.
Yeah, for sure.
Why is this okay and the other ones aren't okay?
Because I
And
don't
then
know.
saying, you know, it's like, I don't have to restart my sobriety, you know, look at all this.
Yeah, it's very weird. Yeah, it's very
I had a
weird.
record,
Yeah, it's very weird. I mean, the only thing I had my last vice is coffee. If they told me coffee could give you AIDS, I'd be like, I have full blown.
I need that shit.
Giving up
I need
coffee ever in my life.
Now let's get back to the, like, so what's the agenda, like, what are we looking at in the next 10 years with this alien influence? Like, what's?
So, bro, I'm gonna tell you something. Today was a really interesting day. I did 2 great shows.
Yeah,
I had Mickey Willis and Eddie Bravo on the first episode. This drops tomorrow, and that's going to. And we broke down Plandemic and that whole movie, and then the second episode we did was with again the Bloodstones.
yeah,
And they have both had like really interesting things. And one of the most interesting, inspiring things that Eddie said at the beginning of within the first episode was he was hanging out with Alex Jones,
yeah.
and Alex Jones was like, "We're winning, they're losing, it's falling apart, their plan is falling apart." And I'm like, that guy's always negative, that guy's always doom and gloom, and for that guy to think that we're winning, that gives me hope because I've always felt
Winning against who?
the elites and their Agenda 2030 plan.
So can you explain this agenda? What's their agenda?
Their agenda is total enslavement.
That's what they're trying to do, get cell phone, all that.
Well, it's not even that. It's like Marxism, equity, all that shit. It's not about equality. It's about completely flipping everything on its head. And then this is what I want to say. The farther you get away from God, this is a weird thing. Drug addict, sex addicted, crazy person, right? That's who I am, right?
I like what you're doing right now.
You know?
Spirituality.
The farther you get away from God, the more your anxiety goes up, the more your depression goes up, the more you start using and abusing everything. It is 2 things. It is easy versus simple. Easy is drugs, alcohol, pornography, one-night stands, fast food, checking out on everything.
Yeah.
That's quick fix shit. Versus simple, which is God, working out, prayers,
Being a service.
law of abundance, like law of attraction, law of abundance.
Yes.
So that's my shit.
So you're, dude, I can tell that spiritual out. Like you're on your spiritual journey.
I'm on a spiritual. I'm trying to find if I can be like a Christian mystic God.
Yeah, so are you?
Like I want to do magic and
Not
shit.
religious.
I'm spiritual.
So, yeah.
But I want to study like Jesus and all that stuff. Because we live in an inverted world, right?
Yeah, it's dualities too.
No, it's inverted.
No, it's inverted.
Yes.
I don't know what you call it, but I'm thinking.
But it's
I don't
inverted.
wanna say it,
So like everyone, who can you shit on all the time? Jesus. Like why can you shit on him and not these other? And I go, maybe, because whatever the mainstream media tells me, I know is probably the opposite is true. So I'm like, what is this?
When did you realize everything was imperfect?
I just come to this conclusion a little while ago.
Because that's a revelation of that spiritual.
So my spiritual journey starts when I have this guy named Matt LaCroix on,
Yeah,
and he's telling me about Anunnaki and human timelines.
yeah,
And then I have this Buddhist author on named Von Gall who made a huge spiritual change in my life. And she's telling me all this stuff about timelines. And Matt LaCroix from a scientific archaeology point of view, and Von Gall from a spiritual Buddhist point of view, are saying the same thing.
shit.
They're saying the same thing. I'm like, what the fuck, bro? You guys are saying the same shit. So I started going, something's there.
Right.
So I
It's
said,
not a it's just.
yeah, that's all. Like, dude, history is a lie. Everything's it's a lie. It's all the invert. So it's like, so I'm not like the valley globalist. I'm a localist.
Yeah.
I call myself a localist.
So do we even worry about the UFOs or the UAPs, the aerial phenomena,
I don't think so.
stuff like this?
I think contact is coming, and we're
Is there
entering.
like Star Trek, like First Contact, where it's gonna be some kind of event, where they?
That's a great question.
I mean, because I would like to see it like.
You want to say like the Super Bowl?
Yeah, well, not that great. It doesn't have to be that grand. It could be something. Well, maybe
Well, the question becomes, can people
handle it.
handle that?
They might freak out.
Well, right now they don't care because we're so distracted.
You know what I realized? I was just observing some people on the Hollywood Boulevard. Everyone's taking pictures of themselves. Everything's like just them. No one's like, someone could be on fire. And I'm sitting there like posing for Instagram.
Yeah.
I realize this is so fucked up.
Yeah.
People are so just
Social media.
self-absorbed.
Social media is a trauma delivery system. It's just constant delivery. Yeah, I just got Luke Radowski on it. He's great. He was talking about like if you get introduced to pornography too early, what that does to you. Yeah, you start looking at people's social media like, yeah, you're less likely to have a long-standing relationship.
Yeah.
You're less likely to have intimacy.
Problems,
Yeah, me too.
That's real.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
me.
Yeah, that's me too.
Yeah.
Because I noticed too, like even like my searches, it's like before I was just doing normal searches, but now they're getting weirder and weirder and weirder.
Yeah, I quit porn.
How do you do that?
It's just hard because it's mostly
Because
porn.
with that, it's like a part of your human biology to want to procreate
Right.
and all that.
Yeah,
Then how
it's
do you
hard.
quit that?
Because I started to think what I was getting, it was just leading me into weirder and weirder shit. And I was just like, I'm in this thing where it's like I'm just getting farther and farther from nature and spirituality.
Yeah.
My view of women was so off. Like I just had an awful, it was like just weird. It was just so wrong how I saw the world,
When school's out, millions of kids lose access to new programs. That's why with your help, is donating up to 28 million meals a year.
And you get desensitized to it.
Yeah, and I just started looking like sex like it was sport. Like it was about high scores and shit.
No,
And it's like it's all energy, man. It's an energy
it's
ritual.
just connection.
Yes.
Yeah, it's not like, about
So my rock bottom in drugs was like I had kids and I realized that they didn't deserve to have a fucking,
Does that change it when you have
100%.
Like if I were to, like hypothetically, if I were to
It's
have,
the greatest thing in life.
but it would
Yeah.
just it would just rewire my shit.
Yeah, well, because you get into your primal mode, which is provide.
And that really keeps it.
Yeah, it's the best.
It is.
The best feeling ever.
Because they have a reason to get on
Yeah.
board. It's not about you, is it?
Yeah.
It's like I gotta
Yeah.
bring
Like
on
you
the
love
light.
it. It's like you love it.
So you're being a supreme service because you're,
Well, no.
that's your own,
Yeah.
livelihood.
Yes.
And they're relying on
It's the
you.
best feeling ever.
It is.
It's
So
like
you
love
have
you'll
to-
never understand. Like Whitney's having a kid, and like you just have no clue the love that's coming.
Jeremiah had a second kid.
Yeah, it's the love you'll never understand. You can't understand until you have kids.
Really.
And that's part of the the depopulation thing is to get people to think, one, there's no hope, the world's too crazy, it's global warming, all this shit is depopulation.
So they're.
Is this the weirdest conversation?
This is why I love it, I love it.
I
don't
give you
get this
card
every day.
tricks,
I don't get this every day.
Yeah.
So there's a conspiracy with that too, as far as them putting out a message as far as don't populate.
Yeah, go ahead,
So
kids.
that's out there too.
Well, even like the OnlyFans thing is a giant psyop of depopulation.
So that there's a conspiracy there too.
Yeah,
Let me hear about the
like I used to do a show called The Naughty Show, and we would interview adult film stars. And
I had some on here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But back when I did it, they were outlaws, and you were just talking about these people that would kind of live in this outlaw lifestyle. Now people
It's
interview
normalized
us like, oh yeah, you're just you got a normal job. It's like, you didn't all have a normal job. And like a lot of that is done on purpose. Like all this outlaw shit.
We need a lot of shit.
Like for me, like when I was doing comedy, when I started doing comedy, there was only a couple dirty comics out there. Jay Patel was like the big one,
Yeah.
Joe Rogan, Joey Diaz,
Yeah.
but everybody else is trying to be Seinfeld, right? No, everybody's dirty. And it's just, and they're trying to normalize that shit. Everybody, everybody. And then they get really upset when they're like, well, that's not really who I am, it's just your act. You're like, well, the guys who did before you, they did that because that's who they were. Joey Diaz, Dave Patel, all these people. So the same thing with trans shit, right? It's like, back in the day, like drag queens did that because that was their shit. Like,
They like doing that shit.
yeah, now it's like a social contagion and everyone's like trying to do, yeah. But they don't understand like the energy that comes with that. And the same things with adult film stars. Like adult film stars, dude, porn star, and this is the guy that set high scores on porn. They used to give me badges and medals for the amount of pornography I watched. I would tweak out and I would tap porn up like sauce. Well, me, I couldn't do much, but I didn't care. I was in it. Like I used to watch. I say something. I used to watch. When I was tweaking, I was watching porn, not even for the sex anymore, but for the cinematography. Like, did the director understand lighting and all that shit?
You got into that?
Yeah, that's how weird I was.
That's pretty weird.
Yeah, hey,
Dude,
dude,
I was that weird for that. So,
No, dude.
just watch it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, dude, I was so weird. I paid for porn for a long time.
Wow.
Even when everyone was getting free, I'm supporting artists, right?
So you look at it as an art form.
Yeah, at that time I was like, and but
But there's a dark side. I like.
well, those girls come from darkness, and they're trying their hardest to change. Well, they're the ones who see it as a business can somehow rise above.
Awesome.
Yeah,
Awesome.
saw it as a business,
Well,
and she took it, and she created, she changed her life, right?
She like got into DJ.
Yeah, you're right. The ones that
Fell to the next.
were really smart about how they did, like Bella Doc. Where is she? Nobody knows where she is. Nobody knows. She's out there being somebody's mom.
Right.
Somebody's mom is Bella Doc. And like she's going to PTA meetings. And everyone's going,
Yeah.
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 You're like, she's one of those two.
You said that you went to got older than that PTA meeting and recognized someone about film industry. Would you say something or would you just think things are just?
I would chill. Yeah, I would chill, and then see if they're open to talk about it. Because I've been in recovery. I don't know, but I've seen adult film stars in recovery,
And I have too,
and I'm like,
And I
that's
have
a savage right there.
and I'm just chilling. It's one of those things where I'll just go.
Respect. Right. But what they've done now is that they made it so like, oh, hey, I don't want to work a day job, so I'm gonna do some OnlyFans, and they don't understand the energy that comes with that.
It's dark.
It's like the early days of MMA. Those guys did that because they couldn't do anything else. And it's the same thing with pornography.
I would just say like
it's not about the. To me, I just think it's kind of like we're in a funny, weird time right now. And like, I don't believe in like this chivalry and like I'm kind of cautious. So if we were to go, I would be like, school students and that's something like that. Yeah, that's I know that's too, because it's like, yeah. It's all down. But it's like, do you have to communicate that, or do you just see like the gesture of it? Like I don't know if I mind seeing the whole, like providing thing. Whatever. I would much rather go like happy. Just be like, I'll buy my own. Because I mean, it's like I would be buying a meal, but it's like I just kind of feel weird about the exchange stuff. But that's a valid thing. So if in my mind I would say, yeah, let's go get some coffee, and then but it's like, do you have to speak to it, or do you think it's like a primordial thing of being close and providing more from them? Yeah, I'm saying, like this idea of like, that's what I think is like. Yeah, where you want to date. Because I get like, okay, if the societal norm is that the guy pays for the girl, then it is kind of a like, you know, warmth, taking you under the wing, providing for things. Right? You know, so it's like, then it's like the roles are reversed, and then the girl, the guy does it to her by your own. Then it's like, okay, fine, then you're like kind of separate still. But I think that like there's also the movement you can look at it like just like freely keep resources, and that's where it gets kind of like weird. You know? So it's like trying to navigate it, you know. Something fun. or do you, is it something where you just get like consumed by it, like how they're saying, like a performing, and you love strongly to interfere? So I can see that too. It's like, you know, it's like, meditation, it's like, it's all love, you know, there with the substrate of the life.
They didn't have a lot of their options because of the trauma of their childhood. So they picked something that they realized there was a market for, and they did the best they could. But now you got everybody doing it, adult understanding. Now you're seeing all these videos of OnlyFans women going, man, I lost all my friends.
Oh, man, it's never be a police. It's like they lost it. It's like, you know, that there's a woman around, she can't find a man now.
Right.
Yeah. Aliens don't have anything to do with OnlyFans, right?
No, but it's all of this is to get you.
I'm sorry, I just don't think you mentioned it.
No, well, the connection is
It's
it's
like
that
that
of God.
It's gonna be.
And who knows?
You say that last thing, it's something from God.
Well, yeah,
A disconnect.
yes,
So he said it's a disconnect from God.
yes, everything is a disconnect. Get you farther from God. That's it. I think it's, I don't know if this is,
I think they're onto something.
oh, okay, I'm 100%.
Because whenever I read about porn, I feel empty inside.
Yes,
And I feel like, no,
yes. It's a quick endorphin. It's like,
Yeah, it's like the same, I was just playing Warzone before we walked in there, and it's the same shit, it's like, you know? And
yeah, but look at what that does to you, man. Why do men love games so much? Because it's this crazy place where they can go to war, win, kill.
And then you
Dominate.
how many kills you get.
Yes.
You're like, gee, I got 7 kills, bro.
Yeah.
And then if you don't get any kills, it's like you feel like a piece of shit.
Yeah.
But in reality, it's like you should kill anybody. You
But
should
it's also
kill
based in this protection thing that you're doing. Like men used to have purpose, right?
Oh, to go to war.
Like you had to go to war to defend your tribe.
Yeah.
Go to war, defend your village, your family, all that stuff.
Yeah.
And now people get that through other things. And that's why a lot of guys are incels. They don't want to go through it. The whole Me Too movement was a war between men and women.
Yeah.
Like that's all that stuff.
And then you have those people in Japan, the shut-ins, and you heard the.
Listen, I don't know what it is, man, but
But them chicks don't know
nobody
that.
wants to bang Asian chicks in Asia. Nobody wants to have
Yo,
kids.
them dudes ain't leaving. They're eating like ramen in the room.
Yeah.
And they're not chicks.
They're in China and Japan are having giant population problems.
No one's they're not named, bro.
Nobody's having kids. I'm ready to go there and save everybody.
And they're
Just
trying,
try-
but they're not trying. They're not trying. They're staying in the room, and I don't have any problems for that.
No.
They're trying, bro.
Yeah, because all your primal things are getting hit through these. You know, it's like men like to compete, like we like to go to sports, we like to learn to box.
Same thing with like in high school. You would have to go through your fear and actually walk up to the girl. "We gonna come with you?" You know, and there's a chance you might give her a chance.
Oh, dude.
They would be like, no.
I hit on chicks.
And it hurts.
Guys laughed in my face. I think I hit on 2 girls after that. I've never been on a date. Everything was like, I had no clue on the relationship between, like, just having a relationship. It was all sexual.
Yeah.
It was just like completely and utterly, like, not.
Well, at least you had to walk up to the person and have a real human interaction, bro.
I mean,
That's
that's
like
like,
dating
yeah,
sites.
like, once I went to college, it was crazy. Like, I didn't have any formal kind of.
Yeah.
Is this a depressing show?
No, I love it. I love it. No, dude, I love it.
Thank
I'm
you.
having a great
But
time.
it's all spiritual,
Bro,
bro.
I like what you're doing.
Manipulate energy, dude.
Yeah.
There's
No, I don't
no,
even-
there's no reality. There's only perception. There's no reality. So it's like when
There's
I,
no reality.
so every day, bro, I sit down and I write down a gratitude list. And then I write down goals for the day and I try to achieve those goals.
You're doing the.
And I do a lifetime goal thing, and I'm amazed at how many times
Yeah,
I hit those lifetime goals.
I can tell because I haven't seen you in a while. You got some life.
I just got here.
No, but there's some vibrancy, there's some vibrant.
Like, I don't drink, I don't do drugs.
Yeah, I can tell you're doing things. Yeah, so it's changed. I don't know what it is. It's a good thing. It's a good thing.
Thank you.
Yeah, it's a good thing.
I'm trying to be a spiritual guy.
No, but that's good. You have kids now, you do the right thing.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm still worried about the aliens though, so they don't want to harvest our sperm and do weird shit.
Well, I don't think there are, I don't think, biological and, aliens are coming here in ships.
You don't.
I do not.
Why
I
is
don't
that?
know what space is. Anything comes here is interdimensional,
Yeah.
and then most
Like a
likely,
video game, how we look at video games, it's just projected, you don't know.
yeah.
What is that out there?
So if you're asking me, I don't know where we live, I don't think it's on a ball spinning through space.
We don't know. We don't know.
We
We
don't-
really don't
They
know.
won't let us know. And every time we get higher, they tell us you gotta go even higher to see what it is.
It could be a globe, it could be like, those snow,
Well, what you're talking about is the firmament there.
yeah, like
Which is,
the dome, it could be a dome or something.
so like, I always tell people this. they always
Is
think
that a
I'm
real thing?
So if I take a balloon, right, with helium and I let it go, it shoots up, right?
Yeah,
Okay. So everyone, I go, why is that? Well, because it's too light for gravity. And I'm like, okay, then why does it shoot up? We call it buoyancy, right? So I go, okay. So if I take a ping pong ball full of light air, right?
yeah.
And I go to the bottom of a lake and I take the ball and I release it, what's it gonna do? Float up, right? But what if I take that same ball and go into a moving river and I release the ball? What's it gonna do? Follow the stream, right? So if we're spinning this fast, how come when I release the helium balloon, it doesn't shoot off at 1,000 miles an hour?
Just had a brain explosion on a sleep baby show with.
Like the buoyancy, they say, like even the buoyancy, so it's one of two things. It's either we're on a flat surface that's not moving, or we're.
This, I could.
Yes,
This,
we're, yeah,
that's what I thought too.
yeah,
It makes sense, right?
yes. And there's a big,
I think
there's
this
a
is
big
all right.
rate that space is liquid. It's not,
It's a leak. Yeah,
yeah, it's not. And that's why when you look at the stars,
yeah,
they look like they're twinkly. They
yeah.
tell you water. Remember when you look at the bright, when you look at the light in the pool, that's kind of how it looks. Like there's no, and it's just like, it's just light underwater. That was the worst description.
How do we escape from,
Okay, that's the crazy
Yeah, so
thing,
what
dude. That's
happens-
what I'm really getting
I'm
into
scared,
right
like,
now.
when I die, there's gonna be an alien brain, a reptilian, and like some other, insectoid, thing, and they siphon my soul, and they put it into a, like a recycle.
No, that we could be in a
You know what I'm saying? I don't want that to happen.
reincarnation loop.
I don't, exactly, I don't want that to happen. How do I break that? I don't wanna be
Well,
recycled.
you are gonna be judged on the
Life review.
on your life review. And what is, so a lot of people are talking, the greatest way to ascend, and this is some of the teachings of Jesus, is to not desire the material.
But that's what people were at.
Yeah, that's the whole
It's
point.
something that I never did, I
Yeah.
just wanted to be,
You're supposed to, that's,
but look what I did. I did the right thing.
bad.
I just, I'm in the room.
Love it.
I'm not asking
With
for
stickers.
stickers, I'm
Yeah.
not asking,
I'm with you, bro.
for the Ford Fiesta.
Yeah, yeah.
You know, I don't have
Yeah.
much, so I'm doing the right thing.
Well, in a weird way,
So, by default, by accident, I'm
the whole thing is that when you pray,
I'm coming. So how did you fucking,
so you get judged, your 46th day.
Okay. Let me take a look at the cards for you. 1 second. I'm just picking up the energies here. Give it a couple more shuffles. Okay. Yeah, so I do see strong energies for like a long-lasting connection here. The Ten of Pentacles. This is about family and legacy. So these are very powerful energies to come out first and foremost. It definitely is this kind of building something with someone type energy here. So I think you're right on track with your questioning. Um, Now, the pentacles represent time, uh, like a calendar year. So I have right here the Ten of Pentacles and the Three of Pentacles. I think the 10 is speaking more so to like that kind of like building a legacy with someone, a family. But the Three of Pentacles can represent more accurately like a time frame. So to me, that would say within the next 3 years. Um, and obviously that's kind of all subject to change. Um, we have to have like kind of a loose grip on the whole tarot thing because at the end of the day everything is energy dynamics, and unfortunately sometimes the rabbit hole that people can fall into with the tarot is that they begin kind of like clock watching, and there's that old saying, a watched pot never boils. So we have to, be mindful to stay present in our life as well, and not necessarily just kind of sit on the sidelines and anticipate. But if I am giving you, a healthy, accurate, like at first blush interpretation of where the timing might be, I would say comfortably within the next 3 years. Like I said, the Three of Pentacles represents a year's time. This is also a collaborative energy. So oftentimes this can be someone close to work or someone that you're working on a passion project with, or something that, you could possibly be involved with building or constructing something with someone, through the grapevine, somehow, some way. And it doesn't mean that you have to know right now exactly. The way manifestation usually works is we set our highest intentions and we, have faith and trust that the universe and, the higher power, whatever you believe in, if it's God or what have you, they will provide. And we're, adjusting our sails in that direction. So these energies look good. They look happy. They look healthy here. As far as the names are tricky. I'm going to be honest. But upon looking, I am kind of getting something with like a first initial with the letter D, like a Derek or something like that. But again, all those things are subject to change. What else did you have any other like follow-up questions or any other dimensions of? Yes. Let's see. Let's see what comes out there. Hmm. Yeah, I do feel as though that it's going to be something that happens naturally, something casually. It's not going to be forced. So to me, it may be while you're out and about. It may be, through connections, through friends, through family. I know that like dating online is very popular nowadays, but I'm really not seeing that element. I'm not seeing that element of like technology, so to speak. So to me, this feels more so like a real world, in person encounter, um, as opposed to any other means involving like technology or something. But I am seeing a masculine energy. The King of Pentacles here. This is traditionally like an Aries energy or a Taurus, someone born in the springtime. Um, Someone financially strong. They're secure, they're stable as far as resources and finances. So it's a very powerful masculine energy to have around as well. It's positive. Um, Let me see if I can see anything else here. And like I said, the work card came out here again. The Eight of Pentacles that represents work. So, and again, it doesn't have to be such a kind of tight interpretation of that card. It doesn't mean that it's literally going to be at a place of employment that you're going to run into this person, but it may have something to do with that kind of that family, that vicinity, that area. Maybe even traveling to and from, or something of that nature. So, um, yes, it could be that as well. Yeah. All right. You said who's going to introduce first? Interesting first. I feel as though that he will. I'm seeing the Knight of Hearts here, the Knight of Cups. This is this kind of like offering, like showing, exhibiting emotion. You know, introducing an offer. Um, like being like a gentleman, like chivalry, extending themselves. Um, so this could be inviting you to go get coffee or just something something kind of to get the ball rolling to let you know that he's interested. And the Ten of Pentacles just came out here again for the second time. So to me, I mean, they say from humble beginnings, great things come. So I feel like this is kind of one of those instances where it could start off as like a small like first date or something, but then that eventually kind of leads, because like I said, that Ten of Pentacles is about like something long lasting, very stable. The Pentacles are about resources and stability. So, but it feels as though that like you will have to do your part as well to kind of try to find those qualities in that person as well, because I think that sometimes life throws like a curveball, and maybe we're attracted to someone but they're not necessarily the best for us, so it's kind of a balancing act. But I feel as though that this is someone that like you'll understand their energy about them. It's not just going to be physical, it's not just going to be sex or lust or anything like that, because I feel like this person is leading like from a positive place. Um, let's see. Yes, I feel as though that he could be older. Yes, yes, he might even be as um, as much as 8 years older. Uh, as crazy as that might sound. Because I see this 8 out here again, the 8 of Pentacles. And like I said, the Pentacles represent the year. So, yeah, I would say maybe like 5 to 8 years older, possibly. Let me see. Let me try to get a season for you. That's a good question. So I'm seeing yes, actually yes. The King of Wands came out here, and this represents Cancerian season or Leo season, and that's right in the middle of the summer. So yeah, you called it right on the dot. You felt it. It's like that song. It's like that song. Yeah, well, the summer is a romantic time. There's like that one song. It's like I met you in the summer. So yeah, it's exciting. I feel that excitement, energy. Like I said, but the twin. Yeah, yeah. And what's your zodiac? Do you know your sign? Okay, yeah. So yeah, I mean, the twin flame can be tricky. The best advice that I would say about the twin flame journey is to take it slow and don't rush into the physical, because what happens is that the twin flame, they feel really familiar, like you've known them before in a past life. Sometimes they feel as though that they're kind of like a mix of all the people that you've kind of met or encountered in the past romantically. So you will have to try to take it slow so that you don't fall for like just rushing in with like your emotions or the physical part of it, because you really want to get to know this person and their little habits, because that's what makes like the long distance work. The kind of long lasting relationship, I should say, is you gotta find out if you could stand that person and they don't bug you or things like that. And a lot.
When I met you in the summer.
Is of darkness, and then you get judged.
Wait, why is that? You stay so specific.
I just said the Bardo.
46 days of, that's like a Black Mirror episode, bro.
Yeah, 46 days of darkness, and then you get judged,
Okay.
and you're supposed to what you're supposed to do. Basically, tell them I'm done with this material world. I want to go back to the real reality. This is supposedly not a real reality. No, we got trapped
We
here.
got trapped.
Yes,
Now we're in a loop.
by the demiurge.
And then we're in a loop now.
Yes,
We're in a loop.
we're batteries.
Go, back down,
We're batteries.
back down.
Like the original
Everything
Matrix.
is saying, go, get go back to the matrix.
Yeah. Yeah,
That's what it is.
yeah.
How do you, so,
You're supposed to reject it and say you want to go back to the
Who
real,
do I talk to? Like, how do you,
those who are judging you.
who are those?
The dudes, bro. I don't know who they are.
Okay, I hope they're fair though, I hope they just share out here.
Well, they're probably gonna try to scare you to go back to life, and they're gonna have all your relatives that you lost, and they're gonna be like, come into the light, like your grandma's like, come into the light.
You holograms,
So what you do, you just punch grandma right there. You're like, no, grandma,
and then turn away and be like,
don't go into the light.
so what's the purpose of keeping, like, I might, so
We're
the next time I might
batteries,
be
bro.
like,
We're batteries. We're energy batteries, and that's how they keep this holographic universe. That's
Where they
the Matrix.
Think about that, it was a cell.
Yeah. Everything,
Cell,
words are magic, bro.
right, does that make,
Words are magic.
Yeah.
Law of attraction.
so we're just fucking,
The world's ran by sorcery.
so the Matrix was right when Neo was in
Yeah.
all this shit?
So when the Wachowski sisters now say that the Matrix is about trans and all the LGBTQ people are like, yes, it wasn't that about trans. It was talking about actual trans. He was talking about trans. What the fuck is it? Turning us into robots to trap us here.
Then that's the next steps because of technology.
Yeah, they want to put your soul in a fucking robot so you can't leave here. Whoa, this is gonna be your
I know
last
that,
day.
yeah, well, this might be, yeah, so no matter how you escape, whether you get a car accident, take your own life,
But you can choose to come back.
so we all in here we've chosen to come back.
You're on a mission.
I don't know the purpose, bro.
Well, you're here to learn this. You're here to, something you did, something you did in your past life, you're here to right that wrong.
So I could have been some farmer in France.
Yeah.
Something.
People want to do past life regressions with me, and I don't want to know if I was like some Russian peasant with big
Yeah.
Russian tits.
Yeah,
I was just
yeah.
like,
So how many lives how many like past lives have you
there's some thought that you have as many lives as it would take a bird to fly over a mountain with a feather and rode it all the way down. That's how many lives.
That's a
That's
lot
a
of
lot of lives.
So are you tired? I mean, do you think this could be the last? I'm okay with it.
Well, you have to be okay. You have to be okay with the lessons of what you've done here. And then you get presented with all the shady shit you did, and you have to be like, okay, I'll go back and fix that. And then you come back and you're addicted to the material.
Right. So my dad, who passed away 2 years ago, he might be back as.
It could be, but I think about Brody Stevens all the
So
time.
Brody
Like,
might be
Brody,
back, yeah.
Brody might be some baby somewhere.
How close are you to Brody?
I did when it used to be when you Wikipedia, you Google his name, I was like one of the people that.
So that was your homie.
Yeah, for sure. I interviewed him the night before he killed himself, which sucks. But I want to go back and be like,
And then,
say,
right, say something to him.
yeah, or hang with him for the rest of the night.
Yeah. So what, because this, I didn't realize how deep this was, because that, you say some deep
I'm
shit.
sorry.
No, it's not, this is what I like. So what does the aliens have to do with our, the reincarnation of souls? Like, what's their place or purpose in that?
They
Oh, they're trying to siphon our souls?
or they're trying to help us. This might be a battlefield between good and evil.
And they're just observing us?
Some are, some aren't.
Because they haven't been nuclear war, and they probably
That's
used
the
some of that
thing.
shit.
I don't even believe nuclear bombs exist.
Yeah,
Yeah, North Korea is most likely
they're
a
fresh rice.
CIA fucking rebel thing.
They're starving over there, bro. You think they got fucking all this technology to.
Yeah,
No, that's all for show.
Yeah.
They're broke. They're looking for rats to eat.
yeah,
They don't even have like
yeah,
fresh meat, nothing.
yeah,
Yeah. So that bullshit.
I think so.
So all this shit's bullshit. This whole,
Everything is an intelligence trick.
yeah.
Scientology is basically a U.S. Navy intelligence operation. Yeah, if you study L. Ron Hubbard was part of this thing called the Gates program, which is these where they took I think it's called Gates, where they took all the smartest kids and they did all this kind of questionnaires to study who's this and who's that. And if you study like the smiley face killer, like so many of those kids were in these like smart programs.
Right.
And they, a lot of them were, so, you know, if you study like, Jack Parsons, L. Ron Hubbard was a US naval officer, and he was sent in to infiltrate Jack Parsons' whole dark arts, like, group that was in the desert trying to make rockets.
That's why, that's the secret, that makes sense, that's.
So here, I got a joke for you, want to hear it?
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay, so a Nazi, a Satanist, a Scientologist, and a pedophile walk into a bar, what do? They invent NASA. That's who invented NASA. Jack Parsons, L. Ron Hubbard, Walt Disney, and Von Braun are the four people that formed NASA.
Can you write that down, please? Can you say those names, please?
Walt
So L. Ron Hubbard, Walt Parsons, Walt Disney,
and Von Braun, the Nazi.
they all created NASA.
And NASA is the Hebrew, sounds like a Hebrew word, Nasha, which is to deceive.
So that's what you're talking about with words.
Yes, everything is word magic.
Oh, man, before my word. That's insane.
I mean, these kids don't know what they're singing, and they're singing all these lyrics that are just negative stuff, and your conscience doesn't know the difference
Because that's
between.
vibration too,
Yeah, everything's vibration.
with the hertz.
Yeah,
You know what I mean? That's, I was just listening to, because I'm making music and I was sampling Buddhist chants and stuff. And there's something to that too, where I'm like, oh,
yeah, yeah,
I mean,
yeah.
and then, and then like, I like it.
Dude, Munchie's the best. bro.
Thanks, man.
I listen to it all the time. It's okay.
Yeah.
You still should go out and sing.
Yeah, you
the
know,
best.
I'm working on a solo project right now, and I'm having fun with it.
You
And, know,
should.
yeah, I'm having fun with it. So what do we do? So don't worry about the aliens. How do I get abducted? I want to at least have that experience.
Well, you probably gotta get out of LA
So
and
what do I
go
go
to
if
the
I go
forest.
to Pittsburgh?
I should hook you up with Ryan Bledsoe, and you should go to North Carolina and see the orbs.
Or what's up?
Yeah.
Supposed to?
Bledsoe, I believe.
How'd you get this guy?
I met him through a couple of my friends, and he's done my podcast a bunch of times, but today, him and his father
Yeah.
came on, and his father he just has this connection.
And that's how they got this son got abducted.
No, the dad
The
got.
dad got abducted. Did he saw anywhere on his body?
No, he didn't even say any of that. No, dude, he no longer had Crohn's
They
disease.
didn't program it right?
Not that he knows of.
So, did they mess, like,
He doesn't have
He
Crohn's
doesn't,
disease.
he doesn't want to recollection of being on the UFO.
No, but dude, he showed me some weird videos, bro, where they're staring at an orb and then suddenly an entity flashes in front of the video and then goes what?
It's not like, so,
It looks like one of those old tribal,
like a
on
sigil,
the
like a
wall.
sigil,
Like a sigil.
like a sigil, like that.
Yeah, and then
Is that
bang,
how
and then
it-
it comes, it goes away. And
Yeah.
he's like, dude, and then Ryan was like, those guys have appeared in my bedroom all the time.
Like the sigil, like boom.
Bang, like the entity is there and then it disappears.
Where did, what kind of entity was it? Was it a serpent or a?
No, it was like, he said they look like tiny children. He said when his dog died, he saw a dog's face in the orb. And they showed us a picture and it was a fucking dog, bro. In the orb.
He has it on his phone.
Yes, he kept sending us it.
Do you have any of this stuff?
I don't have the pictures. I
So-
will drop it on Tuesday.
No, that's fine, that's fine. Can we plug that? Like, I want people to see that episode too, but,
So tomorrow,
but this is dropping later,
okay,
So
so,
I don't want to be out.
okay, so yeah, whatever day, if it's after
Is
Tuesday,
that gonna be on the broken,
no, that's gonna be at Tinfoil Hat.
well, hat?
Tinfoil Hat with Sam Triple
Yeah,
is
yeah,
my jam.
okay.
It's almost 7 years old.
I was gonna
Still
say,
top
right,
100 podcast.
Yeah, yeah.
so hard, bro.
So how have you kept together with, like, doing comedy, being a dad, you're doing all this stuff, man? Like, how do you keep it together? Where do you get this energy?
Well, you know, I have a very weird supercomputer head. I come from hard workers, so if I didn't do any of this, I would just be talking to myself. So I literally talk to myself all day. So I'm just like, I might as well just turn on the computer camera
Yeah.
and microphone and just record myself. And so that's where all these every podcast I do is about a passion.
Will you educate my brother? How close are you to my brother?
I love your brother. He constant, and we're cool. He threw me out of